Morning to everybody. Good morning to our public from socials and live on web. This is the second meeting, second conversation actually with our American host from Silicon Valley. Gideon Marx is today with us, and we organize a conversation with Antonio Solinas of Abinsula, a company from Sardinia working globally. It's a series of three conversations that we organize as Fondazione Blue Zone to profit of the presence of Gideon Marx and Chris Berry here in Sardinia. They are involved in a summer camp running in Tortoli, Ogliastra, Sardinia. And it's a summer camp with it's 15 persons trying to refine their business idea with two major representatives of the Silicon Valley experience and model that we have here in these days. So welcome to Gideon Marx, welcome to Antonio Solinas. I will introduce Gideon. Gideon is a serial entrepreneur experienced in tech companies with a strong finance, business, and corporate development background. He took 3 companies public on NASDAQ. He managed successfully 4 merger and acquisition in USA and Israel. He has a very long experience in Israeli incubators, almost 20 years, I think I remember, and 20 years in Silicon Valley incubators as well. He's an entrepreneur, he's a mentor nowadays because in this part of his life he's taking care of giving back his experience as entrepreneur, as businessman to the young people starting a new business around the world, especially in Silicon Valley now. Gideon is also the anchor mentor of the Google incubator in Silicon Valley. And welcome to Antonio Solinas. Hi there. Antonio is the research and development director of Abinsula. Abinsula is a very interesting company, a national company, working globally on the global market, starting in 2012. Specialized on embedded systems, IoT, web, and mobile solutions. They started from they started at the beginning on the automotive sector, but nowadays they work on the health sector, agriculture, industry 4.0. Maybe Antonio will tell us a little bit more about Abinsula. Antonio is also an engineer involved in several research and development projects also at European level, and if I'm not wrong, some of them also funded by Horizon of the European Commission. So we have an entrepreneur and a businessman, a mentor who traveled the world helping people to make business, and we have a manager of a very successful and interesting company that we have in Sardinia. So what's about today? Today is a conversation between 2 life experiences. So it will be not like an interview, it will be like a conversation among us. I will start from Antonio, also to give the chance to Gideon to get familiar to Antonio's experience. Antonio, I will start from Abinsula, which is a very fast growth history track. Started on automotive, now on agriculture, industry 4.0, a lot of investment on research and development, which is your responsibility inside your company. Can you tell a little bit about the reality of Abinsula? And I'm really interested in knowing which are your main challenges nowadays on the global competition.
Thank you very much, Graziano. It is a pleasure for me to participate in this meeting. Also, I read the CV of Gideon, even if I was aware about his experience. So it is a pleasure for me. I am quite lucky because in the last 5 years I spent a few months in both in Israel and in San Francisco. So maybe I have a question for him at the end, and I have something that I can say about these two experiences in Israel and in San Francisco. Basically, I'm Israeli, born in 2012, and until 2012, I was only a software programmer with some experience in the research-funded project, in particular with a main company in Italy owned by a tycoon. The tycoon is Moratti family. I was involved in an ICT company in this owned by Saras and Moratti family. And but in 2012 we decided to start with a new entrepreneurship challenge. The name was Abinsula, with the idea to collect in Sardinia all the experience that we did as software embedded programming in the world. The big idea was to bring open source into the cars. Now it is quite normal, and but in 2012 it was not normal. Less than 5% of the market of infotainment system was built with open source, in particular Linux. And we decided in this challenge to say we can use this type of operating system in the cars, and it will grow very fast. And it was a good challenge and a good deal, because now more than 50% of the infotainment system in the cars are built with this type of system, and this is our experience. It is important, and I think it is important to also in the parallel with Israel and the USA, that we start with a public funded project. So we applied for a 1 million funded project by Regione Sardinia and Sardinia Ricerca, in order to design Ability. Ability was our Linux distribution for automotive. So the idea was I wanted to design the operating system of the cars, and it was a challenging. It was a challenge, and it worked. It worked, and it was very good, because in few years we started to bring this type of software to BMW, Lamborghini, Maserati, and many other PSA group, FCA group, and then we bring this type of experience to other markets. For example, in agriculture or Industry 4.0, Topcon, it is a Japanese company, very huge in agriculture systems, or CNH Industrial. So we started with this type of experience, and the idea was bring open source to embedded system, and this was a mix between product and services. I think that if I think the first year it was in of Abisa, it was something that was really exciting, because every day we arrange a new contract, a new deal. This is our market. Maybe after we can speak about the new relationship, the new market that we did. If we wanted to summarize the specialization of Abisso is this one. The idea is to bring open source to the embedded system, with the particularity that it is important that you know very well your market. For example, you cannot bring software directly to the car maker. You have, for example, to bring software to the component maker, and then they bring your software to the car maker. I think that from the startup and from the knowledge and something that we can say to the summer camp is to understand very well which is your place in the value chain. You can start with an innovative product, but it is important you know very well where you can sell it. Are you mute, Graziano? Sorry.
Thank you. So I think that the essence of your answer about what's your main challenge today in the global market is about trying to get your spot in the value chain in your global markets, because not being too big, not being too small, but having your position in the value chain. So that's interesting. And that introduces me to Gideon. Gideon, you've seen startups and incubators and ecosystems around the world. Silicon Valley, Israeli, which is famous as one of the most interesting emerging ecosystems in this part of the world. You've seen startups, you've seen mature companies, you helped companies to scale up, to go to the NASDAQ and to merge. So you're familiar to what means for a company, a mature company, like the case of Avinsula, what it means scaling up in a global system. What do you look and evaluate when you have companies willing to scale up in the global market?
Well, I think it doesn't matter if the company is small or big or medium size. At the end of the day, you do have to have some similar components that if you have them, the chances of you being successful are much higher. So I always look at the management team, the people that are supposed to run the company, to see how they work together, if they've got the ability to deliver and execute, if they understand the markets, if they're customer oriented, if they're open to, let's say, going global. Going global means new demands, I would say, from any company. So the first thing is always the team, the style. Secondly, I think that just like Antonio described before, he understood very well his customer. It were the car manufacturers. This is what I understood. So he probably spent tons of time on understanding what is his market, who are the users, and aimed to provide them whatever they needed, so they would become, to some extent, his distributor, because if his system is embedded in many, many cars, then the cars are sold by other people. So he found a way to make his, I would say, technology platform, whatever he built, accessible to all the world, but through cars that embed his system inside them. So to me, again, the quality of the team, has the company evolved from being a seed stage startup to scale up? Have they made all the adjustments that one needs in the management team? Secondly, of course, understanding the market, willing to serve it, and willing to work hard. This is crucial. If you ask me later about going public and other things, then, you know, there are some rules of the game. But I think that the 2-3 things I just described are, to me, the most essential.
Is it, Gideon, is it still true that for a company working global, the US market is a test bed?
I've been asking myself this question, and it's interesting how we all around the world kind of say, well, if you're successful in the US, probably you'll be successful any other place. You can be successful in the Far East, you can be successful in Europe, but the biggest threshold is always the US. The Americans have built this wonderful perception that you need to pass or get a graduate degree from them, and then life is a little bit easier. And I think that what is unique about the US is, first of all, the size is enormous. It's a continent, actually. And they're willing also to test new technologies, new platform. And they're willing to challenge incumbents with new technologies, new companies. So if you're a scale-up or even a startup, and you aim at the US, I believe that their ability to be receptive to new ideas is by far exceeding any other geography. So being receptive, and also, I mean, the potential is so big there. So I think that this is one of the main drivers of a lot of scale-ups trying to get bigger.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I see. So it's a matter of size of the market and let's say openness of to innovation.
And also, I would say recognition. I mean, if I'm a company and I will tell, let's say, banks in Europe that I am selling to the biggest banks or the biggest stock exchanges in the US, that my solution is already embedded there, a lot of others will kind of follow what happens in the US. That's the reality in many cases. So this is why a lot of companies kind of will try to test themselves in the US.
Yeah, I see. But the case of Abinsula is very interesting because, Antonio, I know you're proud about working from Sardinia and not having delocalized your production, your research and development in other places in the world, maybe with more intensity in capital, more intensity in technology. You decided to stay and work from Sardinia. And I think this is very, it's much linked also to your company values, to your company culture. May I ask you, which is the rationale of your choice of being located in the island, being and working, acting globally at the same time?
Yeah, I admit that if we think about other type of region in the world, maybe it is the wrong decision. On the other side, it was in particular in the beginning of the company, it was the right decision, because the idea is that in Sardinia we are an island, and in this case it is an opportunity, because the possibility to find in an island all the people that you need to start your company, and also there are not too many distractions. For example, the possibility that a founder or some key people can go directly to another company. In San Francisco, it's very difficult to avoid that the possibility that someone go in another company. So it is the opportunity was to find all the people. The ecosystem in Sardinia was very good in terms of university, schools, and also past experience of the people that worked in this region. So even if the company was starting in 2012, all of us have more than 15 years of experience. So for starting, it was a very, very good opportunity that we take, and also we are quite proud. and we try to collect people abroad. So we have people that comes from the entire Europe go back in Sardinia. Usually it's Sardinian people, but we have also people from Tunisia, people from Germany, people from other part of the world that are colleagues here. So we have a few colleagues that comes from other part of the not only Sardinia. So in the beginning was the opportunity. I really admit that now, maybe for scaling up, it could be a limit. If we take the 3 ingredients that Gideon gave us, that was act globally, and we are okay. We act globally. We don't have this type of problem. The other part was related to the management team. Here, I have to admit that we are a management team that are completely involved in the technical part of the company. So probably in order to scale in the future, we need to involve more experience also in another field of the knowledge, like economics or M&A, IPO, that are something that we don't know. So it is quite difficult, and also to find for example, we are quite good in public funding, in particular with the European funding, but we don't know exactly how the venture capital works. We know the minimum that we can observe here in Italy, but we know that, for example, in USA it is large. The third ingredient was the knowledge of the market, and I think that here we are quite in good position. So if we think in the management team and the possibility to scale up, we have to think to open other position, not only in Sardinia, but the idea is to leave the headquarters in Sardinia, that we are quite proud of. So.
That's it's peculiar because it's a very good combination of local and global. You're really rooted in your land. You're proud of working in Sardinia, from Sardinia. You see a lot of advantages working from here. At the same time, you're open-minded and you look abroad and you are able to act abroad. I'm thinking, I guess your company culture is somehow changing. I mean, from the origins, probably new stories, new legends are coming in, which are not only the stories of the first days. So probably also you're changing. This is very interesting because it's something, it concerns also the theme of how you engage people. How you engage people at a distance, how you engage people because you're all together in the same place with a very strong identity, and how you combine this double identity, being locally, culturally rooted, and at the same time being international, also probably in the next step you're going to do with your acquisition abroad. So this opens another theme with Gideon. I've heard a lot about the smart workers and the phenomenon in the Silicon Valley of professional and companies moving all the people outside their buildings. So the deal today is I can work from everywhere from the world. I just need a very good internet connection. I need a culture of working in a networked organization, not relying just on proximity. And probably what I win from my work in Silicon Valley, it values 10 times more in other parts of the world, and my life balance could be better. So during the past year, during the COVID pandemic, I read a lot about this digital nomads phenomenon. Hundreds and thousands of people going abroad to have a better life or a better work-life balance. Is still this the scenario, or is going back to the usual path?
It's a good question. Since I'm sort of semi-retired, I'm not experiencing this myself because I've been working from home in the last 5-6 years since I began to do a lot of mentorship. But to be kind of serious, I think that the pandemic caused us to adjust to a new reality. And during the pandemic, when it was striking the US, Italy, and other countries, you had no other option. People could not come to the office. So yes, if you're in software and if you're a developer, yes, you can work for a while, I believe, from home. But I'm a believer that eventually we need to go back to the social, we're all social creatures, us human beings. And a lot of times the meeting you have next to the coffee machine at work, or the happy hours, or just the meetings face to face, not next to through Zoom or Google or whatever. I think we're losing a lot of the analog interaction that is so crucial between human beings. So what I suspect will happen in the next few months, once things begin to open, and hopefully the Delta variant won't take control over our lives again, I think that you'll see more and more a hybrid version. I know that in Silicon Valley already, some companies made it clear to their employees they've got to come back to the office for 1, 2, 3, and sometimes even more days every week. You cannot continue this work long term, because we in the companies, we need to have our engineering or the developer groups, you know, exchange opinions, views, kind of enrich each other. You need salespeople, marketing people, meet with developers, with the product managers, and discuss things. Now you may say, Gideon, we can do it through Zoom. Yes, we can, but I think it's not the same. This trip to here, Sardinia, is my first face-to-face encounter with entrepreneurs after being at home since the beginning of the previous year. So I've been doing many sessions on Zoom, but the fact that you look at people's face, sensing their body language, realizing what they understand, what they don't understand, challenging them, it's a complete different way. My son, for instance, who is a computer science engineer, works now in Israel in some tech company. He moved there from Silicon Valley about 3-4 months ago. He joined the Israeli startup. And he tells me we go to the office every day because Israel has done some decent job with the vaccines. And he says it's so much fun to work together with fellow developers. So to make a long answer short and summarize it, I think eventually, within a few months, we'll begin to see going back towards working in offices. And we as social creatures need this. I think we don't understand how fatigued, tired we are from this kind of communication where we look at little squares all the time. And innovation needs to have communication between people, and I think preferred communication is the analog way, meeting, seeing each other. Let's wait 6 more months, and I believe we'll see the new hybrid version.
Okay, okay. But I hope we will have you again in Sardinia for some periods, because I know that you're enjoying this.
So yeah, of course, this is my first visit to Sardinia. So I'm not familiar with the area, because I'm actually like you guys, I'm a Mediterranean person from another hot and humid place called Israel. And the beaches here are spectacular. I mean, the food is, what can you expect? It's good. But I think that more noticeably, I've been working with my colleague, Chris Berry, during the last week and a half with about 12, 15 young people. And I can see the change in these days. I can see how their eyes open, they're curious, they hear different things. It opens their way of thinking. They suddenly begin to challenge things they haven't challenged all their lives, because they realize that they can do extremely well here if they take some of the things that the older people kind of share from their experience. So I would love to come back eventually one day when I'm invited. And I am very impressed with it's a small number, 12, 15 young people, but I'm impressed. I'm looking, when Chris talks, I look at them, I look at their body language. Yes, they're curious. They're like sponges, trying to absorb data, knowledge. They ask good questions. They're not shy. And we're challenging them in all kind of strange things, and they're doing their homework, as we call it. I'm optimistic. And Antonio's company, I think, is another component in this equilibrium formula. So you need the young generation to push the limits, but you need the Antonios of the world to create reality here, which can be duplicated. And then you need the government agencies, the local governments, and people like you to create an ecosystem that suddenly everybody works together towards achieving this goal of bringing digital transformation to Sardinia, creating a startup ecosystem, etc.
Yeah, yeah. A few words for the public that is following us. Currently, we are live on Facebook of Fondazione ETS Blue Zone, Facebook of Opificio Innova, and live on the web of Matex.tv, which is the local regional television on digital channel.
Italian. All the comments are in Italian. I can.
Yeah. And so the comments are there. Just a few words, what you were talking about. These 3 conversations, the first we had it on the 6th, and you were with Chris today, and then on the 13th, there will be Chris with another company from Sardinia. Are a series of 3 webinars organized by Fondazione Blue Zone, which is a foundation born last year, aiming at providing high technical training and education on the touristic and valorization of the cultural and artistic patrimony of the Sardinia, and is participated by Provincia di Nuoro. I would like to thank all the partners of Fondazione Blue Zone, which are Provincia di Nuoro, Camera di Commercio di Nuoro, Consorzio Universitario di Nuoro, Federterziario Italia, and other companies. And you were talking about the summer camp that we are running in Tortolì, which was the first initiative of the Fondazione ITS Blue Zone. And it was a very fast open call for 12 dreamers, 15 dreamers. We received almost 60 applications. We decided to choose 15 lucky them. And so you were talking about this 2 weeks experience you're running in Tortolì. And just to explain to who's following from socials, but while you were talking, there is somebody asking and making questions also on the chat on Zoom and probably also on Facebook. So this is interesting about what you said about the ecosystem and the need to have events, initiative to foster the youngs coming up with their ideas, creative ideas, crazy ideas, new ideas, but also the need of having a company like Abinsula able to give a space, to give a chance to workers to develop their talents. I would also say, Antonio, it's very interesting to having this kind of exchange between two worlds so different, one from each other. Gideon lives in Silicon Valley, and you work and live in Sardinia. And also in the summer camp, these meetings of two worlds is so nurturing, so opening the minds, like Gideon said, that it's always a big surprise and a pleasure to see how people connect each other. Antonio, how much do you think we would need this kind of experiences for young Sardinians here in our island?
I'm very proud that you mentioned Abinsula as a success story, and I think it is. But we didn't scale or we scaled a little bit. So we have to think about the limit that we had in the past, and I think that what you say now it is the real ingredients in order to allows the ideas to become great ideas. So we have a good entrepreneur here in Sardinia. We have good ideas. We have something that can grow very fast. We miss two things. One is the ecosystem related to the venture capital. And I think that we have some good experience, good venture capital in Italy, but it is not enough compared to the number of ideas and startups that continues to grow. And the other part that we miss is the ecosystem of meetings. Something that you can have in San Francisco when you go to take a cappuccino, and you can meet someone that can suggest something more. I remember some history in San Francisco that during a beer there was a 25,000 kilo dollars, $25,000 for a venture, for a seed in a beer. In a beer meeting. So we missed these two things, and it is a good idea to organize this type of challenge, this type of meeting in Sardinia, consider also that we are a small California also in terms of weather. On 31 parallel we have Naples, Sassari, and New York, and also California. So we have a good parallel. It is a joke about the fact that we are not so far but only in terms of parallel. and yeah, and also maybe with this type of contamination, we can also attract more interest from a big venture capital or big that can do Series A, Series B, Series C.
Okay, so we will continue to try to build networking and bridges among these two realities. This is our mission. We are closing in 4 minutes. I would play this game now, Antonio. Imagine you have 30 minutes alone with Gideon and have the chance to ask him for professional advice. What would you ask him and why?
Yeah, my first question was related to the difference between Israel and San Francisco, but I will ask in private. And regarding this, my question is, which is the best team composition in order to scale up? So as I told before, the team of Abimsa is very efficient, is very smart in my opinion. My colleagues more than me, but we are all engineers. So which is the best composition? Yeah, that can be good, and if we can take this type of people outside.
Gideon, could you give us your advice?
So I'm a believer in balanced teams. So definitely this was the best team to develop the product. But there is a minute where you have to transition from being just a technology company into a very business-oriented company. And I think that the management team has to comprise of people that actually complement each other, meaning you need always to have great technologists, but you do need good chief financial officer, you need good sales officers, you need business development, you may need corporate development, you'll need good HR people to hire the new talent that you'll need. You'll need to have people that understand what going or expanding globally is. If someone has grown in Sardinia and hasn't left Sardinia all his or her life, I guess this is not the right person to spearhead expansion. So I would say that you've got to begin to add all these missing component in the lines of business that you need: HR, sales, business development. And these are the people that will need to help the founder, that's you, take it to the next level. And this is something. Another thing is diversity. I mean, we're praising here the fact that we've got a Sardinian company, but this is the good, but also the bad. What I've noticed in Israel and in Silicon Valley is the diversity that we have. And I was talking with young people here about it, and the more diverse the team is, the more cultures collide and begin to feed each other. And you do not want everybody to think similar, alike. So if you begin to add other people coming from different backgrounds, different cultures, this hybrid usually will be more innovative, will know to pass thresholds and hurdles in a better way. So these are the two comments that I would probably tell you, Antonio, to enhance the management team with a missing set of skills, but also begin to look at getting more diverse team and let them kind of feed each other, seeing new ideas, etc.
Thank you very much, Gideon. Thank you very much.
Please, let's connect later. We can talk.
Yeah, of course. I will put you in contact, of course.
Gracias.
Prego. So we reached our deadline, 12:46. So I would like to thank Gideon Marks for having gifted us his time for sharing his ideas, Antonio Solinas of Abinsula for sharing his experience and his story with us in a very nice conversation, I think. And I would like also to thank the partners of the summer camp in Tortolì, which are the Consorzio Industriale Tortolì, where the summer camp is hosted, and the Fondazione di Sardegna, who gave the financial support for the realization of this really fast and unique summer camp in Sardinia this year. We hope to do it again next year. So thank you very much to everybody. Thank you to Provincia di Nuoro, Camera di Commercio e Consorzio Universitario di Nuoro, Federterziario, Fondazione ITS Blue Zone. Grazie, passo all'italiano. Grazie a tutti. Vi invito a seguirci ancora il 16 alle 12. Ci sarà l'ultima dei tre appuntamenti che abbiamo organizzato. Saremo con Chris Burry, CEO di US Mac, Silicon Valley, e la CEO di Greta Tulipani, un'azienda specializzata sul fashion che lavora in Italia e in Africa, e saremo molto interessati ad ascoltare la loro storia e a confrontare le esperienze come abbiamo fatto oggi. Grazie Gideon, grazie Antonio, grazie a tutti, arrivederci, ci vediamo venerdì 16. Ciao.
Ciao.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. So we'll be connected.
Yeah, I will connect
you.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
By the way, it's like I listen to music. When you Italians talk between yourselves, I love it. I love it. It's like opera to me.